Hi there, Chris here, another quick tip for you all. In this video we're going to continue our look at painting the models from the Warhammer Quest Silver Tower box set. And so in this video we are going to start working on the little familiar called Pug. And then we are going to work on his little uniform, which looks kind of like a little jester's uniform. And for that we're going to start off with some Nagroth Knight. This is a really nice deep purple color. And this is for the main body, which you would imagine is like the outermost portion of his uniform, I guess. Whereas like the little kind of folded square flaps, like his collar and everything like that, is like the inner parts of the cloth. And we're going to paint those a different color when we come to those. Main reason for using the purple is because later on when we get to the head, we're going to do that in a contrasting color. And so I figure it'll play very nicely. Gene Stealer Purple is next. Thinned out just a little bit with the dampness of the brush. Again, because these surfaces are so small. Using a detail brush here to pretty much lay the base coating on and pretty much trying to work around as carefully as possible. Again, simply because the areas are so small and you really don't want to have to keep going back and forth, cleaning up mistakes or anything like that. And so it does pay off to take your time and work your way around all these small little details. Work out all the little corners and all the little nooks and crannies and things like that. Again, Gene Stealer Purple was chosen because I wanted the main uniform to feel basically one color and not to have a whole jumble of colors. Although I toyed with the idea of doing it kind of like a Harlequin kind of theme where he's many different colors and full on, because his uniform feels more like a jester's uniform. Druchii Violet is next, and this is going to be a shade wash applied to the entirety of the uniform itself. Again, it's going to bring that Nagroth Knight way down. It's really not that noticeable, and that's okay because, again, I still want to preserve the dark purple. And on the Gene Stealer Purple areas, it brings it down nicely, but I do not let it pool up too much on some of the broader areas, like you see where like the little flaps and everything are. Nagroth Knight and some White Scar. We're going to mix these in roughly a 4-to-1. It's probably closer to like a 5-to-1. I just wanted more of that Nagroth Knight to just remain and preserve that dark purple tone. And basically we're just going to edge highlight around the details. And this is pretty much an edge detailing around pretty much all the details that are the dark purple. End of the cap, and you see we're just following some of the folds, the big pouchy area on the on his hood, on his calves. You can see we highlight pretty much the entirety of his calves. His thigh is pretty much the entirety of his thigh. Again, because he's so small, and it gives you kind of this kind of cartoony kind of look, but I think it kind of works for these little guys because, again, they have this kind of almost chibi quality to them. And so again, you can see we're just very carefully laying in some of these small little highlights in here. And if we work through that quick enough, we can simply add a little bit more White Scar to the mixture, making it roughly a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 if you went with a 5-to-1 ratio before. And then here we're just trying to lay in some really small little highlights within the previous highlight. We don't want to lay too much down. It's basically at some of the corners, creating some tiny little dots here and there. Again, just kind of picking out some of these little details. Again, the main thing we want to preserve here is the dark purple of it. We don't want it going too close to Gene Stealer Purple, as we have a different idea for that purple as well when we get to it. Speaking of which, Gene Stealer Purple. And we're simply just going to lay this down on top of the previous purple because, again, the Druchii Violet tinted it quite a bit. And so, again, it gave us a different tone as well as being really dark in the recesses. So we're simply just going to give this an edge highlight and really reestablish that Gene Stealer Purple. Again, I wanted to have the purple remain quite dark. Again, because it's going to contrast with later on the other elements of the model. And so very quickly here, we just work our way around the details. Again, it's an edge highlight. It's not quite like a Zenithal style highlighting or anything like that. It's really kind of an illustrated kind of, it's not very realistic highlighting. It's just an edge highlight. And You know, we simply just work our way around some of these areas here. On the shoulder, you can see it catching quite a broad area there. On the wrist of the cuffs, quite a bit of a highlight goes on that areas. And Decola Lilac is next. This is edge paint. It's a pretty nice color. And just from the little corners and everything like that, we're simply just going to draw in some little highlights here and there. Again, keep trying to keep it very, very minimal. And with a tiny little guy like this, you know, it can be kind of tough. And so you do have to bust into steady hand mode when you are working on small little details like this. But again, it really pays off in the end because, again, there's just so much character in these little guys that you want to preserve all that, and you want to preserve the character of the model. This guy here, he's a little jester, and so you want to keep it nice and light, yet kind of impish, chaotic. I don't know, making it up at this point. Then you can see here the little cuffs on the end, catch those little buttons. We're not too worried about the little bells that are kind of hanging off like the end of the hood or anything like that, as we'll get to that when we get to the finishing details of this guy. And so just, again, it's really simple. It's just a simple little edge highlight around these details. Doesn't really take all that long because, again, it's just a tiny little guy. He doesn't have all that many details to go by, but with the edge highlights, it keeps it nice and strong, nice contrast. We've got even more painting tutorials in the Silver MiniWarGaming Vault. You can watch another one today about how I finished the head of this little guy. Just click on the link in the video description below and watch it right now. If you don't have a MiniWarGaming Vault membership, you can click on the link, sign up for a free 7-day trial. Make sure that you sign up for the Silver membership so you can gain access to the painting tutorials, and you'll get instant access to over 1,000 painting tutorials already in the vault. And so thank you for watching. Happy wargaming.